All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. We're finally ready to get started. I know I introduced myself already a couple of times, but again, I'm Valerie Caña, your usual host for the Product and UX UI Las Vegas Meetup. So thank you all so much for coming. I'm really excited to see a lot of new faces for me, and a lot of familiar faces as well. If you want to join our LinkedIn group, here's a QR code, but we'll also be showing that at the end. But this way you can know what our next topics are for the month and just get, be part of our conversation and be part of our community. So I'll just keep that up for a few seconds. I think some of you are scanning. So today I'm just doing a short meet and greet to introduce our amazing presenter. We're going to be talking about AI tools, and how that applies to user experience design. Afterwards, we're going to do a breakout session where we all get to break out in small groups, discuss your questions with AI with the rest of the group, and then we'll conclude with a short survey and feedback session, which will be very, very beneficial for me to set up future meetups. I also wanted to introduce our amazing organizers. I'm just one of many of the brilliant minds of our UX team. Again, I'm Valerie. We have Abigail here, who is an incredible designer at Omnicell. Jonathan Para, he is our OG organizer, but he is competing at a West Coast Swing dance competition right now, which is awesome. We have Brady Bullard, couldn't be here today either, but he's one of our incredible OG members. JB in the back, incredible principal designer. And last but not least, our incredible presenter, John Balboa, a designer at Edward Jones. Every time I talk to him, I'm just so blown away with the amount of knowledge that fits into his brain, and then he always shows us incredible demos of all of the different tools that he uses when it comes to everything from user research, prototyping, creating websites. He's just that guy, and I'm so excited for him to come up today and speak to you about AI. So without further ado, let's introduce him.
Well, thank you so much. I am live. Whoa. Do I have a teleprompter? I'm just kidding. I could, no, I go off the top of the dome most of the time. But anyway, so just before I start, I want to kind of get a feel for the room. So who are my business owners in the house? Anybody founders? I feel like I recognize a few of you. Okay, perfect. Second one's software developers. Front end, back end, doesn't matter. Cool. Yes, let's go, developers. And designers in the building. Very cool. Sweet. And then just straight up enthusiasts who love AI? Yeah? Okay, very cool. So how experienced are you with AI? If we're gonna kind of measure it from beginner, intermediate, advanced, where are you? Just shout out the answer.
Intermediate.
Intermediate, very cool. What up? Medium-ish, okay. All right.
I can spell it.
You could spell it. That works. Great. We also have AI help us with our spelling. I'm a terrible speller, by the way. Okay, so how many AI tools do you use on average? Dozen? Two? Okay. Three? Okay. All right, so go ahead and shout out and name them. I'm just waiting for the chorus, right? ChatGPT. Which one? Slayer? That's a video game? Slayer? That's an actual... Slater. I was about to say, I was like, Slayer? There's an actual AI? Hey, they name things after everything, by the way. So, okay, go ahead.
Otter AI.
Otter? Okay. That which use case is that? Just to remind me.
I'm actually using it now because I'm deaf. So
Oh.
for me, it's for transcription.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Nice.
Right. They have Otter, Fireflies. There's Loom if you do video. Very cool. Any other tools that people use? Let's learn from each other. How about that? Nime? Use case, what is it?
It's an AI prototyping tool. You can make your own AI system.
Very cool. Nice.
By German University.
Very cool. Very cool. And you don't need, do you need to be technical or you don't have to be?
You probably don't need to be too technical. I use this for doing white papers for AI case studies.
Got it.
Where I would sub-model and get to 88 to 93% accuracy rate instead of the standard AI rate.
Wow.
So like I would do a case study on used car sale. I would take a data set for like used car sale prices at auction. I would use 9 to generate random forest models.
Wow.
To do it. So you've got to know a little bit about AI. You need to know, be able to select what model. But there's graphics and other things you select what model. You can actually develop your own models.
Wow, very cool. Very cool. Has any of you guys already made your own models? Oh, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was just saying Grok, the new version of Grok from X.
Okay.
It's nice because it has an unmoderated version of the app, which gets real sassy. And so if you're looking for like a model that is willing to, maybe go off to the edge a little bit more than GPT or Anthropic.
Or Claude or any of those things that are more restrictive.
Yeah, it's really a good option, just as general prompting.
Yeah, no, I've even heard of, I don't know if this is correct, but there's another one that people talked about. It's not Luma, it's something else. Although Luma Labs is really awesome. Image into basically video animated things. You could take something you make out of a Midjourney or any sort of visual app that you guys are used to using, Photoshop, whatever, and turns you into something. I've tried a couple of them and turned me into a mutant. It was really weird. Probably won't show that video today just because that's weird. But there's other ones that, again, like Grok and other ones that are also uncensored, so they don't have as much restrictions. That's give or take those type of use cases. It can kind of bounce with some sort of moral implications on that too. So just go ahead and chat about the AI a little bit more. By the way, has anyone used the new ChatGPT 01 preview, 01 mini yet? So good, right? Like, I love it. So for people who use ChatGPT normally, usually it's good at really doing tactical things, just to give everybody context. It's good at giving you very tactical things. If you say, hey, I have a persona, this is me, right? This is the context of what I want to have done, and this is the output I'm expecting, right? So generally that's how I write prompts, is like you have a persona, you have some sort of context of why you're doing it and what your plan is, then you have the order. And then after the order, you tell it to write you something, an Excel document, something, then you can go really fancy and then tell yourself the format. And yeah, kids, okay. So you could tell it to say in an 8th grade reading format, or tell it to say, hey, put it in an Excel table so I can just read it off of a graph, right? Or some sort of use case like that. ChatGPT 01 is good at strategy, that I've noticed, is that it's really good at planning out things, but all the tactical things you could use with other AI models or other GPTs. So that's what I've kind of found from my experimentation. So AI common use cases, we got fitness tracking, video editing, image generation, content creation, right? Copies everywhere. Smart home. We have writing code. My favorite is cheating on homework and making memes. That super meme AI, try that. If you want to make memes all day, I did a meme for one of my posts today, although I actually didn't use that, but still, very good at making memes. So that being the case, so here's a couple of AI cons. Again, you probably already know these things. I'm maybe just preaching to the choir, but here's some common cons about AI. AI is biased, right? So depending on the data you train it with, or when was it last updated? Okay, it was last updated 2023 or 2024, but what if some human came out with some sort of invention AI wasn't trained on? It's biased there. It can even be racist or discriminatory depending where you're at. Go ahead.
Talk about bias, look at Gemini.
Yeah.
Search for founding fathers. And that was purely based upon the creator, who bias he stuck in it.
Yeah.
Granted, bias is so prosperous in our society. It's saying.
Yeah, no, and it can be discriminatory against like any sort of ethnic or racial group, men or women, like ageist. Go ahead. Yeah.
And we know ChatGPT is completely politically biased.
Yeah, like it's crazy, right?
Social agenda attached to it.
Right, and this is why and you brought up a great point. The reason why I say that is because this is why I think it's so important for us as human beings, as developers, as skilled folks, that we train it on our data, right? Like we train it on our data so it at least gets full context, because usually this is how AI works. You have a pool of context. You're trying to tell it to get this one little thing in a needle in a haystack. You got to narrow the crap out of that. I generally, like, who uses here, who's familiar with ChatGPT, who is familiar with custom instructions? Who knows what that is? Does anybody know what custom instructions are? Okay. Sometime, I don't know if I'll be able to show it here because I don't really have like the internet or whatever, but custom instructions are essentially 2 blocks that you get when you pay for ChatGPT, right? There's these 2 blocks, right? Fill in the blank, 1,500 characters each. I basically put in 15 things on one block and 15 things on another block. And that is to paint context of who you are, what you do, and what you want to get out of GPT. When you put those, when you fill out custom instructions in these 2 blocks, every prompt you do afterwards becomes more specific because you're narrowing that focus. You know what I'm talking about? Because again, it's shooting from a wide lake. Those custom instructions now narrow its focus to more what you want. So now the common prompts that you normally type in, they end up being more focused, right? You don't end up getting generic things like biased content like this, or the next con I want to go into next thing is like it hallucinates, right? It starts making up, right? Pretty much makes up stuff based off of anything else. Go ahead.
I was curious, have
Sure.
you ever done much thought into comparing the bias and hallucinations from AI to regular people that you work with? Like, which do you think is more biased on average? Humans that you come across in the real world or AI?
That's a great question. I honestly feel too, and now I'm speaking for my own bias. I actually think they're almost, they're kind of equal. Because think about it. AI is trained on humans, and humans are naturally biased.
Right.
So that data will be biased, right? Now, if it pulls for more perspectives, like let's say you train on the context of your stuff, and then someone else's stuff, and someone else's stuff. Now you have multiple angles, right? Like I think I remember the news report that ChatGPT 01, the new one that came out, has an IQ about 120. It's not as smart as the previous models before. So if it's 120, that also probably means it's biased too, right? It probably doesn't have as much training models in there. Any other questions before I keep going? Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say,
Yeah.
would it depend on what group of people you're talking about when you're making analysis?
Yeah.
Let's talk about a notoriously biased group of people,
Yeah.
journalists.
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, you know, and because they've actually, I think it's one post-active study, and the ratio of leftists to conservatives is 13-1.
Okay.
And so a lot of it depends. And a lot of the problem I think too with why we get these biases is because journalists is the second most biased occupation behind
Right.
academia, which is even more biased.
Right.
And where are most of these AI being developed? Via schools,
Yep.
universities, and so you're getting bad data from the internet.
Right.
You're getting bad data because they're both owned. They're both owned on the larger level. The universities they require funding, right?
Yeah.
And it's not independent. It comes with attachments. It comes with bias. That funding. So as a result, the information you get out is not fact.
Right.
It's theory based on bias.
No, I disagree with the idea
So-
here.
Hallucination, I would say that.
Jerry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Did anybody else get that reference? All right. You are not the father. Okay.
Like human beings hallucinate, they just call it being full of crap.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes I feel like people are so hung up on hallucinations and biases
Uh-huh.
with the AI that they act like humans are this golden standard that,
Right.
oh, well, we've got to fix AI. It's not even, it's so biased, it's so hallucinating.
Yeah.
I find that it's less biased and less full of it than
Right.
a lot of people like that you meet in the real world. I mean,
Right, and I think too, if
For people that program.
right, and I do think, again, all great points. I do think, if I'm really boiling it down to the essence, right, is it achieving what you want, right? Like, is it achieving what you're after? If we're becoming more goal and objective focused, I think that can kind of be our North Star, is like, hey, is it kind of giving us what we want from a scale of 1 to 10? Is it like really giving us what we want? Kinda, or like, dude, this sucks, right? So you're looking at quality. Go ahead.
Isn't though a lot of this that we're looking, and the way we're talking so far, is
Sure.
we're only talking about the natural language processing versions of AI. We're not looking at the things like random forest models and the other models
Right.
that actually you pull out the statistics and the mathematical numbers.
Right, we didn't get to data analytics, but there's a good point on that. There's specific models, like, I can't remember, I think Llama is one of them. I know Bard or something, they use that, Llama or whichever. But it tends to pull off a lot of like, statistical data. Again, I could be totally wrong of which one I'm referring to because there's so many models already. But that being the case, there's other AI vendor tools that do pull from that data. Again, if you train it with your own, especially if you verified it yourself, like the more accurate it becomes, right? Same thing for the other thing too. I just want to be very cognizant too for my developers in the room. Do you guys happen to use AI tools already, like GitHub Copilot, any of those other things in your workflow? Just want to make sure I address you guys too. Do you use? How do you like it?
For me, it's simple. I'm trying to put spreadsheets together and other data work.
Okay. Very cool. Does it help you compile it and get through things faster?
Yes.
Very cool. See, right? Like, good use case, right? If you're trying to compile through data, like, better than sifting through it manually, right? And last thing, of course, AI does disrupt job markets. That kind of sucks. Like, it's an inevitability, and it's kind of sad. But it also opens up a lot of opportunities. A lot of people tend to say it's like, oh, it's not AI that will take your job. It's the person who knows how to use AI that will take your job.
If that's
So
the job that you're taking.
that's true.
Say find a different job you're a job taking or get better at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or do something that's more manual labor. Think about it. Like, think about all the people who work at HGTV. They don't have to worry about AI. They're building houses. AI can't build houses yet, right? So
Like we've seen some of it in design aspects too.
Sure.
Where, I mean, do you need as many interns now? It'll affect design in a whole different aspect.
I think it'll affect every knowledge worker in the planet. Like whether you're a video editor, a marketer, a writer. Oh, writers, man.
Well, new
Forget
law
it.
just passed
You
in Hollywood. In other
Yeah,
countries,
no, I remember.
Which outlaws AI actors
Right,
in order as part of the agreement with the actors union.
right. Has anyone ever heard that news of, I think he was the guy who, Medea? That I think, Tyler Perry, Medea, right. So he made Medea, right? Like because AI tools came out, he laid off all that staff because, we could just make generative AI video and just put it into our cuts. What do we need all these people for? Laid off the entire workforce.
$100 million to do.
Yeah, is
I
crazy.
understand their concern on that, but
Right.
I'm involved in an entertainment industry AI-based project.
Right.
Which creates digital clones of real-life characters that can
Yeah.
be used as an actor.
Yeah.
But then how, say, if the Bruce Lee family approaches us and says, we would like, the end enter dragon to be finished with
Yeah.
realistic AI Bruce Lee actors, since we can't do the real. We don't
Yeah.
want imitation. We want the original meshed with a seamless actor. You could not tell the difference from the original. You make it look like old film and make it look grainy. Can you literally finish Enter the Dragon with it? Yes, we can.
Yeah, they can.
A couple years of AI modeling, but now even a couple months. But yes. Now, does that new law prevent us from doing that for the Bruce Lee family? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, that's nuts. They actually also had a film, right? There was I don't know, it's like a European or Australian film. They didn't want to reshoot the video. So what did they decide to do? They used AI to redo the mouths and the language, and even remove all the cussing from it off these clips, and then reshot it again with AI. You can never tell the difference of like, oh, it was shot here, it was said this way. They changed the voices, they changed even the accent. Originally, the actors were Australian. They made it sound American. And
was that really AI or was that?
Yeah, that was straight up AI. I have to look for the video.
CGI, classic CGI?
No, it was CGI AI, but like it was AI, like using the AI voices in sync with CGI, right? It's crazy. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. So like now you don't have to reshoot videos. One take, one take, right? One take, or a couple takes, or half the takes that it used to take. No take, right? So there's that. And then here's a couple pros about AI, right? Let's get more to the positive, right? We have personal recommendations. Who uses Spotify AI DJ? Anybody Spotify fans up in here? I love it, right? Like it's based off of what you already listen to. Awesome, right? Netflix, I'm sure everybody has a Netflix account. If you don't, you're a liar. Hulu, we just recently went to Hulu as of recently, just because they have Disney Plus, but same thing, right? YouTube TV, any of these streaming services, they all use AI. Amazon, like who doesn't use Amazon? Only unless you're in a third world country, I totally. Yeah, right. Anybody use Perplexity in here? Perplexity? Anybody have heard of Perplexity before? Like who is like, what am I talking about? All right. Oh. It's like, what am I talking about? Okay, so Perplexity, just think of it as an AI search engine. It uses multiple models. You can pick whatever you want. It has its own. You can use Claude, you can use GPT, but Perplexity, take that as a note. If you want an AI search engine, I almost don't use Google anymore. I use just Perplexity, believe it or not, right? Like I usually don't. Now, that being said, Google is very competitive. Google Lens, if you use Google Lens off your Android phone, man, you could scan whatever you want off of that sucker. Same thing with GPT. If you already use the GPT app, you can actually upload documents and pictures into GPT and tell you exactly what that sucker means, right? Same thing if you want to pull text or OCR, optical character recognition. So you basically take a picture of a text. You could take a picture of this slide, put it into Google Lens or something, or ChatGPT, and it'll kind of give you some rundown of like, oh, what's this guy talking about, right? You can use that to study for yourself. You can like start picking pictures of things, and then it will look for all the related images around. So Google Lens is also a very good choice. Who is really big into productivity? Who uses Notion? Anybody use Notion in here? Notion players in the house? Do you guys, all right, so project management wise, you use like anything like Monday.com, Trello, Asana, any of those things? Asana, okay. Trello, yeah, I love Trello. Jira, anybody use Jira? It works in, I knew it, software developers had. Yes, let's go. Like, yeah, so, go ahead. So
Slack too.
Slack, yeah, definitely, Slack. Discord, anybody Midjourney fans? Let's go with Midjourney, right? Leonardo AI, anybody use Leonardo AI? I mean, I kind of play with it, but like Leonardo is okay. I don't mind it. Anybody use Runway? Anybody knows what Runway ML is? So you could take a image you create off of AI or your own, put it in with a prompt and say, hey, turn this into a video. It will turn it into a clip. Runway ML. Runway ML.
How much of those do you actually pay for? Which ones of those are you willing to keep on?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Runway ML, I know there's a few tokens it gives you at the beginning. That's free. Same thing with Leonardo AI, also free. But again, it limits, right? And then after that, you do the pay the whatever, the $39.99, whatever per month. Because AI tools are getting more expensive. It does take a lot out of like resources to do that sort of thing.
Which ones do you pay for?
Oh, the ones that I pay for? Specifically right now, GPT and Notion. Because I used to do it for project management and note taking, and it also. I do pay for Midjourney. Yeah, like I'd say, but only the lowest tier, $8.99 or whatever the lower.
$60, so because that gets you the rights to the art.
Right.
If you pay the full $60 a month, you can put that art on a T-shirt and sell.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. No, I used to pay.
Then you're not gonna get.
Yeah, no, I used to pay the max amount that you did, but the reason why is because I only do it for just show only. I'm not planning to like profit from any of it. Like some of the AI images I put on this slide, I'm just doing it for presentation purposes. I'm not trying to sell nothing. So, but if you are, great to know. That way you kind of do it proprietary for yourself. Otherwise, you can always lean onto your your Adobe stock. Plenty of Adobe AI stuff. Anybody mess with Adobe AI? All right. It's not that great, right? Firefly's a little janky. Canva AI, anybody use Canva users in the house, right? Like, so if you don't come from a design background, shoot, Canva is great. They have like ton of templates. Anybody use Adobe Express? Adobe Express competes against Canva AI, and I actually think Adobe Express probably might knock it out. Sorry, but the flip side, who knows of Affinity Designer? Affinity. Any of Affinity, right? So they bought it out. So Affinity, for anybody that needs to know this, so let's say you wanted to have a graphic design software, Affinity with an A, no subscription, right? Like, because you notice that many of these AI tools have subscriptions. Affinity has 0 subscription. Check that out, right? Affinity Photo and Affinity Illustrator and Affinity Design or something, but look for Affinity with an A, okay?
So you buy the license and they'll allow you to download.
Yep.
Whenever they patch it or do something, they basically have only created version 1 and version 2. So now you can buy the older one. I think it was like $50 a license was the older one. So you don't have to buy the whole suite as well. But it's now, since Canva bought it, it's the business or like the professional suite for Canva. But they'll eventually integrate the AI, like especially with ChatGPT, they're going to integrate that as well.
And I think that's great, because then the good thing about all of this is that it's, the more competition, the more they compete for each other or toward each other, more choices for us. I mean, like as consumers, like we just have more choice. So that's pretty awesome. All right, so anybody work remotely or hybrid here? MS Teams, Zoom, Slack, all that stuff. Very cool. AI is all in there. Anybody use Copilot? Copilot? Any Copilot fans? Great. So they just came out with this for Office 365. I don't know if you caught up on the news on it, but Office 365 can now have Microsoft Copilot blend into PowerPoint, and you can make automated presentations. I wish I did it for this one, but you know what I mean? You literally can make an automated presentation off of that with all graphics on there, and it'll just spit it out. I'm just like, I should have just done that to make this deck, but like I didn't. I did it the long way. So,
Canva just launched that too.
Yeah.
So I've only ever noticed that is a feature on the phone 365.
Oh, really?
But I've never seen anyone access it on desktop.
It is used on desktop. I can't remember which YouTube video I saw, but somebody did literally show it on actual PowerPoint on PC. Go ahead. Do you have a question?
I was going to say, to clarify, you should just say that Copilot is ChatGPT, since Microsoft.
Right.
Yeah, that's very fair. I think that's totally fair. I think the caveat that I've noticed though is that Copilot allows you to switch models in case you want to. Same thing with Perplexity. It allows you to switch models.
Well, the other difference is that like my office environment, it's all part of our package.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go outside and pay extra for it.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. That's fair. Any other questions before I keep going? Okay, cool. So obviously there's like a ton of use cases. All right, so let's just skip the demo time. How about? All right, I have a few videos here. Some of these, by the way, some of these sub captions may be off sync. Just letting you know. I'm going to go over. Go ahead before you go. Oh no, this is my dream house. I aspire to that. Okay, I'm not a baller, man. Like, look, what do I look like, man? I'm like, come on. I came in here in an Uber. I'm just like, yo, I came in an Uber, man. Great question, though. This is what I dream about. Yeah, it's not. Good call. This is Midjourney 6.1. Crazy how realistic this is, but it looks pretty close, right? I mean, the rendering's great, right? So it's pretty fantastic. So I'm going to go through a couple use cases. I just filmed this morning, so if the subtitles are a little off sync, whatever. Did my best. So let's check this one out. I'm showing AI in the context of UX real quickly, and You can kind of see where you can apply it to, but here's one. So let's play this one. Is the volume going to be working? All right, hey everyone. So I want to go ahead and give a quick demo of common use case number 1. And this is going to be creating a web page with AI. 3 different layouts. So you'll have desktop, mobile, and tablet, all done with a prompt. This may or may not be perfect, but man, this is going to be really cool. Check this out. So first we'll go into this sort of test project I started here. This tool is called Framer, by the way. You hit actions and you have this option that says generate page. This page will allow you to create something here with a prompt. So all you do is you type in, let's say we wanted to make a site about Hawaiian ice cream. Let's try that. So create a website of Hawaiian ice cream. And let's just see what happens. All right, it's generated this thing. Okay, starts with aloha. Okay, very good. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out of this screen. And you'll notice that it's creating 3 different layouts, right? So your desktop, your mobile, tablet in between, it's all figured out. There's even content copy here. Again, not totally perfect. If you actually had a Hawaiian ice cream brand, you're probably going to fill it in with your own images. You're going to tweak it with your own logo. But how fantastic is this that you can get to do this without having to do it from scratch, right? And that's just one page. How many other pages can you make? You can make product pages, all kinds of stuff. You can launch and publish this as a test site, and then you kind of work with it. So here, I'm going to say not now, but let's say you wanted to mess with the color variations. You can click this and say, oh, I want something cooler. Oh, I want something like colorful, more funky. Again, this stuff is pretty sweet. I mean, and this took, what, 30 seconds? Not even. All right, hey everyone. All right. So I want to go ahead and give a quick demo of... Yeah, that's Framer. So Framer, this came out... Actually, Framer has been around for quite a long time. The thing is that Framer was originally a prototyping tool. And then they rebranded themselves as like, dude, let's just make websites because that's what people want. And they integrated with AI right out the gate. And a ton of designers love it, right? Because it integrates with Figma because a lot of designers use Figma, right? So they literally could just take your Figma prototypes or whatever and then import them here. And then like, it's almost as if it's one tool instead of it. It acts like 2, but it's really one to take care of your needs on that one. The next one I'm going to go ahead and show. Oh, go ahead. Question.
Have you ever used Theme Forest? Because that kind of, I mean, without even the AI.
Yeah. Theme Forest, Envato. Yeah. Anybody use that?
Just did there, you kind of get that without it, because it seems like it's just a template that they've customized with some AI.
Yeah. No, I do think because these AI generation tools are at its fair like infancy. This is what I've noticed. Because I've been a subscriber of Envato and Theme Forest too, I've noticed because all these theme authors have to upsell and sell them, right? They're business owners too, like the rest of us, or people who are trying to sell their creative work. They charge a lot for these templates. Some of these, like you can go to Webflow, you can go to WordPress, you can, like whatever web creation tool you use, they charge for these templates. Some of them are $100 a piece. But think about it, like with Framer, for example, you pay $100 or $200 for the entire year. Pick up, let it generate something, and if it doesn't like it, generate it again. Keep generating until you find something that you like, and then just custom tailor it with the rest with your own images. And then that's when you start to mix in things like ChatGPT, things like Midjourney, things like other tools where you start to mix things together. That now you have what you call as an AI stack. What's your AI stack going to be like, right? Even as a developer, right? So a lot of you guys, what's your normal IDE? Do you guys use like what, VS Code? VS Code, most of you? VS Code, IntelliJ, Java developers in here? No? Okay, so you use IntelliJ? No, you don't? Okay, yeah, right? So backend developer, yeah. I got you, man. But in any case, you can still pilot that together. Same thing. So any React developers in the house? React developers? So am I the only one? Sorry. Okay, very cool. Codex, have you ever heard of Codex before? Codex, made by Wix. It is a visual designer that creates React code side by side. So you can work with your developer, they check the code, you design it, you work together. Very fast, right? Like, and that's made by Wix, right? Like, who has a Wix website? Anybody have a Wix website? Right? Crazy, right? Like, the opportunities are crazy. Like, I only could do a few demos today, but like I got 2 more for you. But it's nuts. Okay, so we're gonna go in for use case number 2, and this is more for UX, right? More for UX-based work. This is to kind of like figure out, just for context, this is to figure out like personas and journey mapping and sort of like, well, maybe not journey mapping, but like wireframes and other things like that. So let's go with that. Where is, okay, this is a lot. All right. Hi everyone, so I'm gonna be doing use case number 2, and this is about digital product collaboration with a team. This tool is called FigJam, something like Fig Newton Jam, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but it's basically a digital whiteboard where everybody can collaborate in one place. You can make planning boards to sync with your team, especially if you work remotely or asynchronously or even in hybrid, right? This is a great way for people to collaborate. Designers use this all the time, but for your own use cases, you can probably plan for other things too. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, this is a great board, in my opinion. So for example, we have several different charts that you can create. There's a mind map, timeline, flow chart, Gantt chart, all this stuff. But let's say you wanted to do something, let's say you're in law, right? Design a planning board for a legal office. Something simple. Right, I'm going to just try that. We hit generate, perusing possibilities, something. Here you go. You have now a planning board that is now trying to figure out. I'm sorry, this is laying on top of a board that was already here, but it's already generating something, which is a planning board to do case intakes, legal research, client effective communication strategies, all kinds of stuff, right? Again, not perfect, but man, this is a great thing to work with. The second thing I also want to show in conjunction with this is a particular plugin called Coco, that is spelled QOQO. And what this allows you to also do is to create personas, journey mapping, stuff like this. This is more for a UX work case because there's different things. Personas, I know is more of a debatable thing. Some people think that personas are useless, but you can actually create personas if you wanted to. And just say, hey, lawyer in legal team fighting personal injury cases. And let's try that. And we can do what scenario? Defending, if I can even spell, defending a client from an accident where it was not her fault. So we have stickies, layout presentations, you can do that. Challenges and pain points, we can put different attributes for this. Some of these goals and needs. We can actually add all of these actually. Let's go ahead and try that. And we hit generate here, and it'll probably overlay on top of this, but I'm going to see how this generates. And then I'll move it just so you can see what it generates out here. So it's working on it. I'll probably fast forward and cut to the next scene when it's finished. I don't have Jeopardy music for this, so we'll see how this works. So it has just created a full persona in about 30 seconds. Take a look at this. Samantha Wills, all right? Legal team fighting personal injury cases. Justice is not something we pursue. It's a fundamental right that everyone deserves. Wow, so you just created a persona for a lawyer. And these are pretty legit. There's a lot in here. Goals, needs, right? And we can fill this in, of course. This may not be perfect. We have to do a lot of different editing techniques and ways to make this better, but man, don't have to do this from scratch. Look at all that. This is crazy. I wish this stuff existed 5 years ago. Hi everyone, so all right. So there's that if you're trying to do business use cases. Go ahead, question.
What's the difference between FigJam and
FigJam and Figma are actually the same software. The FigJam is basically a file in Figma that allows you to do the digital whiteboard. Figma is just one software. FigJam and Figma Slides, the presentation you saw me do earlier, those are just 2 files that exist in Figma. Just to let you know, Figma is one tool, right? That just to clarify. Go ahead.
What's the tool that you use to generate personas?
Personas, that is called Coco. QOQO. You can write that down if you want. It's a plugin. I think it costs like $50 one time. Hopefully they didn't go to a paywall subscription model, but I bought it at $50. Like, go grab yours. I don't know, like, they should totally pay me for saying that. But yeah, so Coco, that's great. There is a more one on steroids called UX Pilot AI that is a little bit more robust, $9 a month or whatever, that does the same thing. You combine it with Figma or FigJam, and then you can really build things out. I only had a chance to film sorry, my brain. I only had a chance to fill the persona portion, but there is one that does journey maps too. And that's pretty sweet. Like if you want to figure out a journey map for a business use case, again, like any business strategist or business analyst in the room, you kind of want to know what you're mapping out for your customer, right? Like it helps you brainstorm those things out. Go ahead.
That persona that it created, is that literally just a UX persona that you have on paper now to help you describe the type of users for your app? That's all that was for?
Yeah, specifically to target them, and it'll break it down because when we design something for a UX persona, you generally want to go from like who they are, what they're trying to do. It didn't put like fake demographic data, if you noticed on the thing. I know this is kind of.
You can't talk to that persona in an AI conversation.
No, you cannot. This is why user interviews are always still important. There's always going to be room, and then there's AI tools for that too, right? Like that helps you take notes during your video conversation, because like we have to, like you have AI note takers. Write this one down. Totally good one for you to use. If you're ever on a video conference and you want to have it take notes for you, use fireflies.ai. Fireflies with an S, like plural. So IES. So fireflies.ai, you could use that, attach it to your Zoom call, or even Zoom has AI transcriptions now. It works very similar to the one you were talking about earlier. Otter. Yeah, it has some decent costs, but I think it's like cheap. I can't forget what they have for a year. It's probably about $100. So like, but definitely worth using, right? The other one for UX research, so super popular. I just wanted for my UXers in the house, Dovetail. Check that out, Dovetail. I maybe next time, if you have me in for the next talk, I will do a demo on Dovetail or something, right? Like I have one more demo for you, and then like there's so many more afterwards. Like again, I encourage you to try a lot of these tools. So there's only one. I can only talk about them so much. It's for you to actually experiment, and try them, get the reps in. Like that's the only way you'll really learn how to use this stuff. And the last one is specifically for creating sitemaps and wireframes. Okay, so this is that tool. I will probably do the one without captions. Editing is going to kind of suck. You'll hear me say a ton of ums. Sorry about that, but the captions are not synced, so I didn't want to play that one. So okay. Hi everyone. I'm going to go ahead and do a use case for creating sitemaps and wireframes for a website using just prompts. This plugin is called Reloom. You may have already heard this on the internet. It's getting a lot of buzz for the last, I think, year or two now. Again, super popular. Let's go ahead and try it. I'm going to go ahead and try the Hawaiian shaved ice, or either that, or let's try a different example. Let's do a Filipino restaurant. Okay, so we'll just do do that for my Filipinos in the house. So create a Filipino, if I can even spell Filipino, shame on me. Shame on you. Restaurant website with full menu and services for dining in and ticket. So you're going to basically generate a sitemap for this, and here it is. Bam. Less than 20, 30 seconds, it's all fleshing it out, right? You have all of these sections built out from a sitemap perspective, right? You can also continue to generate content and fill it out. E-commerce, I mean, that's kind of like weird, but okay, now it's starting to edit it. So you can continue to generate content as it goes. This is pretty amazing. Now, this is a sitemap to kind of figure out your architecture for a site. So again, if you're trying to do this for a case study or some sort of like portfolio piece, you can help use yourself to you know, or even just planning for a project, right? Like we want to be able to map everything else out before we get to design it, right? But the other cool thing that it does is simultaneously, while this was happening in the background, I know I'm moving a lot very quickly, is creating wireframes. So all the wireframes are being built in the back too, simultaneously with the sitemap. So how cool is that, right? Again, it doesn't create a full site from scratch just yet. Of course, there's more things to do, and it probably can, but again, this speeds up our workflow so much as designers and even marketers, or even let's say you're not even from a design background, but if you wanted to build a site for yourself and have it all planned out and taken at least halfway or a quarter of the way, how much time could you save? So that's, in my opinion, a really awesome use case.
What's the name of that?
Relume, R-E-L-U-M-E, R-E-L-U-M-E. So Relume, check that out. Again, really great tool. I think that being said, like a lot of these tools they're in their infancy, but they get so much better, right? Like there's the after workflow of that actually goes into like Webflow or whatnot, and it actually outputs a site, right? And that's launched. That's crazy. Now, given this, all right, I always want to say this when it comes to AI, like, and again, I could be preaching to the choir. Everything that's AI generated, please, like, put your finesse on that, because right now, it's with all the biases and all the stuff on it, like the quality isn't quite there yet without the human touch. Will it get there? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, will it get there? I think because the rate, I forget what the statistic is, that AI is going like 2, 3, 10 times the knowledge of humankind, like at the rate, like, so who knows what it's going to be like in 2030. Like, you know, like it will probably do a lot of things that we would normally do. And then we would essentially just be art directors at that point. Like just telling it what to do. Do this, do that, do this, do that, right? Get my coffee, right? Like, go ahead.
So as I mentioned earlier, that
Sure.
you use Otter AI because I'm deaf, and obviously I'm talking to you all. So it's a different type of invisible disability that I have, hearing aids, but still being part of the hearing world. And so for me, what I'm most excited is to see how this technology is going to help people like me. With everyday things, with being able to work, being able to collaborate, communicate. Because right now, none of these things are being, you know, utilized or marketed towards people like me. And so for me, that's what I'm most excited about, and wanting to kind of have a voice and partner up with people to, you know, kind of get my perspective on where the user experience needs to go for people like me.
Absolutely. No, there's so many great use cases for AI and accessibility, because accessibility is such a thing. Like I know it's being very like much in law, in actual national laws in Europe. Now America's starting to follow suit, because again, if you've ever followed any of the accessibility lawsuits that happened in the last decade, Beyonce got sued for it, Pizza Hut, actually Domino's, but Domino's is a big one, Ford, right, Netflix, right, like they all got sued for inaccessibility. So just having those things available, like AI note takers, fantastic. Text transcription, fantastic for people who can't hear, and that's the reason why I auto caption my videos, right? So like,
Thank you for that.
yeah, no, I try my best, you know. Some of them are kind of janky, but like at least you can get to see it, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to make sure that even all of our stuff is accessible as much as they can. Now, if you guys, before I wrap up, if you ever use Figma slides, I would rather you guys use PowerPoint, at least for right now. The reason why I say that, again, accessibility checkers, if you ever use PowerPoint very well and you're a PowerPoint power user, that alt text system, super helpful. Again, for everybody that can't see an image or is in low vision or whatnot, you definitely want to lean into that. There's a lot of AI generators that can help inside of for accessibility. Of course, use your own judgment to edit it and make sure it's good. But with that, that is my talk for today. And I hope if you guys want to hear more from it, I'll gladly speak again. But until then, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. You're up. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah. You go.
we have 7 minutes, so
Yeah, yeah.
we probably don't have time for breakout
Yeah.
questions unless we want to go through.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could just sit and chat.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
up here. Yeah, so time for questions. We were supposed to do breakout groups, but I'd much rather hear John.
Yeah, sure.
Throw up your QR code for your survey again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My bad. I unplugged that sucker. Jeez, man. It's just so easy to dip out. It's like, I'm done already. I'm done.
Those wireframes that generated, they're going to be limited to a certain set of known styles, right? I mean, it's not going to like come up with a whole new UX design that's needed for a type of application that doesn't just fit a set of articles at a blog type site or product selling products or something.
Right. You're talking about the last video I referenced, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, that is specific, just so we're clear, that one is specific only to a Webflow or website, right? So you're not going to generate text like that for a mobile app going on like iPhone or
a web app, like
yeah,
a web app that
right.
I've hired UX designers for.
Right.
And to get a good design, it's almost like if they don't come from Google or Apple or something,
right.
then you're wasting your time. The application demands are so high that standard UX, especially with a fluid design layout, is not easy to achieve.
Right. I do have some debatable questions about that, but I will say this, I do think that designers, the common conception, and this is just for you guys to know in the room, the common conception is that like, okay, designers that work at those companies are all good. Sadly, I've worked with people who've designed at Microsoft who are my coworkers. I'm not going to call their name out. Sorry, I don't want to shout you out, guy. But it almost is the common conception. It's like, oh, I work at Louis Vuitton, and then versus somebody who works at like Walmart or Prada or whatever next door, they're equal or more or less just because of the brand name. Not necessarily true. I think what you need to really decide to see is the overall skill that the designer has, the overall skill that the UX researcher has, and also for the developer. Do they work well with developers, right? Designers collaborate well with developers, generally have better output to create those responsive designs that you're talking about, to create the apps that you're talking about. So like some of these tools right here, these are really great planning tools. They don't actually design the full experience. That's what you have a professional do, right? So these help the professionals, but I consider AI tools, just so we're clear, I consider AI tools to be just like power tools. Power drill, chainsaw, whatever, right? But they're not there to replace you. They're there to enhance the skills you already have. But if you're not skillful already, it doesn't help you much. Do we agree on that? Like, are we good? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, getting back to your point a little
Sure.
feedback. Under the Pareto principle, they say that 80% of all software defects are acquired. So what they're doing is they're allowing you to look at certain things beforehand.
Yeah.
So when you talk to the professional, you are presenting something to him so he better understands your goals, your ambitions, where you're going.
Yeah.
And so it assists in the communication.
Right, great call. Because so Pareto principle wise too, like think about it, that 20% on execution, right? That's helping you do maybe the 5 or 10 or whatever percent of execution. The rest of the 80% rule will probably be your psychology. How do you think about it? What is your knowledge base? Like, you can use AI to train yourself as much as you train AI. So you can learn from it, so you can upskill too, right? AI can't teach you, but you have to ask it, right? And you have to know what to ask, right? And then you just continue the loop. It's a good thing. I have no qualms against it until like robots just decide to kill me. That's about it. So, do we have any more questions, by the way? I just want to go ahead.
Sure.
Sure.
Maybe a question for the whole group.
Sure.
How would you handle upper management, like their hesitations and their fear of, like company NDA information, using these tools?
That is a great question. So I work in finance, so I'm not going to obviously spill the beans on the stuff I do for work, but there are a lot of implications about AI being used that way. What I highly suggest anybody who's in an enterprise environment, better for you to home cook or to have an AI internally or a vendor you trust to train your data and to keep it secure. Again, you have to this is where you have to do your own research. This way, all your data stays in-house, and then you could prove to your business stakeholders that, we could use AI, but we can use it very judiciously and with a human touch in a way that's secure. Go ahead, question.
Adding on to what you said, most of the AI stuff like now, right now.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Most of the AI, a lot of the AI you also like that private network.
Yeah.
So that means that you store all your data privately and the AI system like chat or whatever doesn't have your data.
Right. So you basically, when you have enterprise AI, you put it through your intranet, not your internet going out, or extranet or whatever. You want to make sure it's within your system and not up in the cloud, right? It has to be withholded within your servers only. Go ahead.
What I wind up doing is scrubbing data, so I build an application that uses OpenAI or Claude API, and if it says Matt Denman bought an auto insurance policy, that might become Mickey Mouse bought something like word scrubbing. When the response comes back, I replace Mickey Mouse back with Matt Denman. So the user always has a conversation that has proprietary data in it. But when it goes out to the AI and the response comes back, you're basically scrubbing it, changing names, figures, phone numbers.
Obscure it.
The way that lets you come back. I remember Matt Denman as Mickey Mouse, so that when Mickey Mouse comes back, it's Matt Denman again. And the user never sees the scrub information, only the AI does. So it looks like you're having a full proprietary conversation with the AI, but the AI just knows Mickey Mouse and different locations, different amounts of money and things like that. But you have to be careful because it can change the context of the conversation. So you can't change it from an airline ticket to going out to eat because the fundamental conversation changed. But
right.
If you just
context change. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, for sure. Cybersecurity, for sure.
So there's a lot of LLM security.
Right. Yeah, no, I think absolutely correct.
Getting into security tools now.
It's true.
OpenAI uses Datadog.
Right.
And they also have links that lets you see your conversation if you have the right access to Datadog. So my question is is Datadog employees who have authorization to access the logs because of their type of technical job they have, like their DevOps or something? Are they able to see the AI conversations that are happening for OpenAI? So you're not just trusting OpenAI, you're trusting all their vendors.
You are.
Security vendor. The security vendor is getting all their stuff too. Do the employees that are hired by the security vendor meet your requirements for your work data as well? It's not just the one company.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sorry,
yeah, no, that's for sure. Go ahead.
Sorry, really quick, just let everyone know it is technically the end of the session.
Yeah.
But if you have follow-up questions, just go up to John or anyone else. But thank you so much. If you just change that last slide. John, thank you so much for an incredible presentation. We learned so much. Please join our LinkedIn group. Also, puts the survey linked there. And then if you have additional questions for John, you can also find him in our group. But thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you guys. Say your feedback. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.